Once upon a time, he was one of the most beloved content creators on the entire internet. He was a comedian, a storyteller, a champion of many progressive values, and a rock star. But 1 year ago, that all changed. His reputation tarnished, his momentum halted, his empire fallen. From the Soot House to the Dream SMP to Lovejoy, and now to videos like these. Wilbur Soot went through many eras during his rise to fame, and then infamy. And today, almost exactly 1 year after his cancellation, I'd like to reopen the book one last time to discuss the rise and fall of Wilbur Soot. So Wilbur Soot, real name William Patrick Spencer Gold, was born in Suffolk in 1996. The earliest video footage of him was uploaded to a channel named Setting66, which was created in January 2008. Perhaps it's the video quality, or maybe it's because of what would happen in the future, but some of these videos almost carry an eeriness to them these days. The channel is seemingly not owned by Wilbur, as in 2024 an update to the channel's description read that Rika was here, and then an eerie message was left. "I hear you've done terrible things, Wilbur. I hope it isn't true." Regardless, this channel was just kids making mindless videos and skits. Flash forward to 2011 and Wilbur would make 2 more channels. The first of them was a channel called Wilbur Gold, which featured him making new music videos to the songs that he liked, as well as a video doing a magic trick. The other was a gaming channel named Minecraft and Donuts, which he would start alongside his friend Sophie. Between May 2011 and October 2013, the pair would upload dozens of Minecraft videos, many of which are still available to see on the channel today. They garnered a relatively modest viewership. Nothing crazy, but each of their videos have a few comments from some of their fans at the time, as well as some dedicated Wilbur Soot fans that have made the pilgrimage to his earlier content. This channel would feature the first ever original Wilbur Soot song put to our screens, named the Squid Song.
The squids are completely useless, just because them not wolves.
And while it's quite atrocious, it was perhaps a slight foreshadow for what was to come on later on in his journey. And in a similar vein, the same thing could also be said about his next channel, A Little Brit of Will, which was created in February 2013 towards the end of his Minecraft and Donuts era. This channel might have been schoolwork or something, it at least seems like it was. There's only 5 videos up, and they seem to all be music videos for songs that aren't his, or short films. He also has some sort of lyric videos too, so maybe this was just him trying out effects and all that. Whatever the case, by this point he's shown a clear interest in both music and gaming, both of which he'd make a career out of in several years' time. But in the meantime, we flash forward to April 2017, because that's when the Soot House was formed. In case you don't know the Soot House, it was a highly successful group comedy channel whereby the members would look on strange subreddits and other weird websites. This was the first time that Wilbur had substantial eyes on his content, and he'd grabbed this opportunity with both hands. In November 2017, he'd create his Wilbur channel, but do keep in mind this wasn't his gaming channel, this one was purely for his music and personal projects. Around this time, he began trying to dip his toes into the music scene, releasing covers of popular indie rock songs and releasing his own music, often centered around online and incel culture. He'd also create his gaming channel, which, if you discovered him through YouTube, is probably where you'd know him from. Leapfrogging off the success of the Soot House, his channel had instant traction, and many of his earliest videos have view counts in the multi-millions. He starts participating in highly successful collabs with big names such as RT Game, Jack Sucks at Life, and Jay Schlatt. But of course, if you already know the story of Wilbur, then you'll know that his later collaborations took him into a new stratosphere. It's time to discuss the Dream SMP. The Dream SMP, in case you don't know it, was the closest thing I can think of to One Direction for people that have crumbs in their bed. It took the most popular Minecraft content creators such as Dream, George Not Found, Sapnap, Tubbo, Tommy Innit, and of course, Wilbur. The members of the Dream SMP would put on a sort of improv drama inside Minecraft, which had their audiences absolutely hooked. Keep in mind that the peak of the Dream SMP did coincide with peak lockdown, so audiences at the time were starved of new content. Hollywood was shut down at the time. But this was ambitious, and it was the perfect storm of circumstances to create one of the most culturally recognizable online phenomenons of all time. Now, given the allegations made against many of the people active within the SMP, it's fair to say that it turned from a dream into a nightmare, but for the purposes of our story, for the purpose of Wilbur, his participation in the Dream SMP blew him up to new levels never before imagined. It was a stroke of genius in retrospect. You would start off watching your favourite Minecraft content creator, and as they carved their way out in the Dream SMP, they would interact with other people, and so you, the viewer, the audience, would be exposed to a bunch of different content creators that they didn't know before. Being invited to the Dream SMP was a golden ticket for exposure that very few people trying to make a career on the internet will ever see. And what he would do next would only intensify his popularity, as in 2020, Wilbur would carry on writing music, releasing 3 songs that would blow up. Those songs were The Internet Ruined Me, I'm in Love with an E-Girl, and of course, Your New Boyfriend. The 3 songs together have roughly 300 million streams on Spotify alone, as well as essentially 125 million views on YouTube. His videos brought new ears to his music, and his music brought new eyes to his videos. Many young musicians such as Levied and MXMtoon have mastered the craft of using their social media presences to elevate their music, and vice versa. And Wilbur had mastered this too. So much in fact that moving forward, Wilbur would essentially switch his focus from content creation to music, forming the band Lovejoy in 2021. One last time, Wilbur would see a massive increase in popularity. Lovejoy was arguably the crown jewel in Wilbur Soot's empire. Since his Wilbur Gold channel back in 2011, there was evidence to suggest that Wilbur had a keen interest in music. But come 2021, and he becomes the frontman for the band Lovejoy, which was an overnight success. Their debut EP, Are You Alright, released in May 2021, and comprised of only 4 songs. But it has a combined total of more than 400 million streams on Spotify. Their follow-up EP, Pebble Brain, released in October 2021 and comprised of 7 songs, and it too has more than 400 million streams on Spotify. Their third EP, Wake Up and It's Over, released in May 2023 and was made up of 6 songs. It has more than 150 million streams combined. It's less successful than the previous 2, and there's an obvious reason why, which we'll get to in a moment, but still, surpassing 150 million streams on Spotify is an incredible achievement. The band would tour the UK, Europe, North America, they'd hit festivals such as Reading and Leeds, Transmit, Lollapalooza and Glastonbury. Wilbur would meet his heroes. He must have been making a fortune by all accounts. It seemed as though the band were on the brink of something special in the very near future. Which was why it was even more disastrous that in February 2024, a livestream went up to Twitch that would change absolutely everything. In the matter of a few days, William Patrick Spencer Gold would go from a star to scum in the eyes of many of his fans. So if you've been subscribed to me for more than a year, then you might remember that this time last year, I actually made 2 videos about the situation as they were unfolding. I spent a lot of time researching this, so if you want a more detailed explanation, I'm going to link the video right now. It's going to be up here or maybe up here, I don't exactly know. And if you want to, get a more thorough telling of the story, then go watch that and then come back to this. For the purpose of this video, details are going to be kept to only what's necessary. That said, on the 22nd of February 2024, a streamer named Shubble, real name Shelby Grace, released a tweet saying that she was going to discuss something serious on stream. Within that stream, she revealed that she had previously been domestically abused by an ex-partner of hers. The form of abuse was biting. Her ex would allegedly bite her while intimate. This is something that a lot of couples do, but according to Shelby, he would bite down harder than she was comfortable with and wouldn't stop when asked. If she was telling the truth, this would be considered as abuse, as anyone who might have been in a relationship whereby sadism and masochism is at play, guidelines and boundaries need to be placed and respected. Shelby would reveal certain details about her ex-partner throughout the stream, such as the fact that he had an ant infestation, that he was leaving the country for an extended period of time, and that he was a wordsmith, all of which applied to Wilbur, who was known to have had a close relationship with her years ago. Even the biting in itself was a clue, as Twitter detectives were able to find multiple instances of him biting the camera, or other people talking about him biting them. By this point, there were murmurs, but nothing concrete. However, after Lovejoy's former trumpeter made a tweet backing up Shelby Grace's statement, a dark picture was now being painted. Wilbur would release a statement onto Twitter that all but confirmed that Shelby Grace was talking about him. This statement was quite clearly written, or at the very least approved by a lawyer, and it claimed that Wilbur thought that their interactions were consensual, having DMs to prove it. DMs that he refused to show. Never once did he directly name Shelby Grace, and the apology was for the pain caused, which many people criticised as vague. This was one of the worst received apologies in internet history, and by this point, the entire world knew what he did. Many of his former friends released statements condemning his actions and seemed absolutely disgusted at his response. In the span of just a few days, between the 22nd of February when Shelby Grace's stream went up and the 27th of February when he released his response, Wilbur went from a beacon of hope on the internet, a lovable geeky soft boy, to a pariah, a wolf in sheep's clothing. While he still had his defenders, like the person that infamously said that worse things had been done in the past, the vast majority of the internet had turned on him by this point. However, while most people had their say on Wilbur back in early 2024 and have moved on since, there have been some small updates in the past year that not a lot of people know about. Wilbur's story does not end in February 2024. While he was essentially banished from the internet, he's still out there somewhere to this very day, still lurking about. Lovejoy's Instagram has been active for a long time now, continuing posting in July 2024, and the group have been touring since the second half of the year. You can see that their gigs are still attended by a lot of people. Many people have refused to turn their back on the band, even if there are a lot of negative comments on each and every post. In August 2024, a music video for Lovejoy's song I'll Look Good When I'm Sober went up to YouTube. It received a lot of dislikes, but was still able to maintain a generally positive like to dislike ratio. Flash forward to October 2024, almost a year after he left the internet, and a video will go up to Wilbur's music channel. It was a cover of Stuck on the Puzzle, a song sung by Alex Turner of the Arctic Monkeys for Richard Ayoade's phenomenal film Submarine. It appears as though at this point he was in Tokyo, found a small spot outside at night, and decided to record a cover. Once more, the video received a lot of dislikes, but overall has a positive like to dislike ratio. Then, in December 2024, Wilbur would upload one last video onto his music channel. This one was recorded after a show in London. And unlike the others, this one had a negative like to dislike ratio and went viral on Twitter because people were saying that Wilbur had gone through twink death. Maybe it's the mustache, maybe it's him getting older, or maybe it's the year he's had, but he definitely looks more aged than before. He revealed in the description that he was going to be releasing more stuff that he'd been working on behind the scenes later on this year, and so it's evident that Wilbur is currently planning a comeback. The question of when that happens is still a mystery to me, but believe me when I say that I fully anticipate Wilbur at some point this year is going to attempt to resume his journey to the top. Whether or not he's able to, whether or not he's burnt enough bridges with his former fans, is another question though. Whatever happens, I'll still be here, watching and waiting to see how things pan out. But in the meantime, if you want to check out more of my content, then why don't you watch my video about Twitch's unhinged stalkers? That one was a fantastic video, but it was murdered by the algorithm. Go give it a watch, I'm certain you won't be disappointed. I'd also love it if you guys could give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already yet and you want to see more of this kind of content. Also, let me know down below who you'd like to see me do next. Aside from that, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.